your questions. We've got astrology, numerology, tarot, oracle, whatever you need. But we will ask, there's several of you we have read for, but we don't mind coming back to you. But we're going to start with some of you who have been waiting and did not get a reading. And if those of you who are in the chat waiting and want another reading, etc., please put hashtag spiritual view in the comment and we will keep looking for that. So MC, thank you. I see that you have done that and have your information. And spiritual warrior, you girl, we sorry we missed you. We got you. Okay. So let me let the ladies say hi. We're gonna just do our little Monday morning chat, and then we're gonna help you guys. And don't forget to come back again Friday if we miss you. And please remember, each of us have our own channel. We'll be sure to put information in the description. So come see us if you need anything. And we're all available for private readings too. And oh my goodness. And we're going to be giving away a free reading Friday from our live last Friday.
Yep.
Yada, yada. Okay. So, yeah.
So make sure you comment and subscribe
on
that video so that you can be entered to win the free reading, and it will be drawn this Friday.
Yeah, because they can still do that, right? They can still watch that this week. Put in,
Yes, tell us how much you love it. 5 stars only. Just kidding. But yes, please do that, and because we're happy to do free readings for everyone. It's really, we love it. So we're glad you're here. Ladies, say hi. Let's go. I'm going to mute myself now.
Hi, guys. It's Jen with the Awakened Jen Tarot.
Hi, it's Dawn, Astrology and Tarot Alchemy.
And Angie from Learn Love Tarot.
Yay.
So should we talk about that huge energy that was going on for the...
Yes, Dawn, please. And there's more to come.
And I see that the spiritual warrior had done like some meditation and stuff for herself. And yeah.
All right.
I mean,
I'm going to write her number. I'm going to write hers down. Jen, sorry to interrupt you, Dawn, but let's go with spiritual warrior. We've promised her. And then MC, where'd she go? MC.
I've got them starred so that we can keep up with their information.
Okay, thanks, Jen. All right, sorry, Dawn. I'll be quiet now. I'm going to mute.
Oh no, so I was just thinking that because of all of the energy that was out there, I think that it was such a powerful thing for releasing, especially the toxic situations from childhood, because of that Capricorn and Cancer being the father-mother energy that was going on a personal level. Because of course, in the collective, we had all of this other thing going on, and I will tell you, it's going to get stranger. I mean, you thought this weekend was strange. Wait till Pluto goes back into Capricorn for like 8 weeks. And I can't even tell you, most astrologers that I know that are doing the mundane astrology, which is like the world astrology, are like, things are affecting the whole globe. Different changes in leadership. I think that there was it Steve Judd that said that there's like 55% of the world is having elections this year. So all of that going on. So there's a lot of changing energy that's out there. And again, the most important thing is doing a spiritual practice, because that's what Neptune is in Pisces. And it is putting in the work of a spiritual practice is what Saturn is in Pisces. So all of that energy that actually tied in to this full moon release, it's a time to release the old ways in the bigger sense. But for us personally, I wanted to focus on the individual, because there's so many things from childhood that are affecting us. You know, the way we learned how to deal with relationships as a child, because, you know, that's how you survive. And then you grow up and you think that's how relationships are done. So I think that was an important thing to release the other night. And I think that as we move forward, there is some really great energy. What I got as a message, my reading yesterday was all, it was like so positive because I read specifically on the full moon, and it was very, very positive energy. And then I read for today. Today's reading is about, like spirit's got your back. The universe wants to co-conspire with you. And like the other three cards were oracle cards: don't live in fear, no fear, like push onward, all of those things. So it's much that energy of not being afraid to move forward no matter what is going on in the world. And you think, oh, that's weird. I want, don't have that Four of Pentacles energy where you're stuck, because number one, Uranus isn't going to allow it, neither is Pluto. And with Pluto doing all of this energy, you're going to have to learn to work with Pluto, because Pluto isn't going to give you a choice, but it is for your greatest and highest good. It just makes a mess first. Okay. So there we go. As far as what I wanted to say about that full moon release, we're still in that energy of the full moon. You can still take opportunities to release that energy. And if people are interested, let us know, and we will look at doing even new moon things as well. And I had thought overnight last night that maybe ahead of the new moon, doing something about what it is for Aquarius. I mean, not Aquarius, what it means for Leo. And then I would look at each of the houses related to that. So you can kind of know how to tie those in before we do maybe a live new moon experience. And I'm going to try and see if I can't do that live so people can ask questions. So that'll be coming up hopefully in like after a week. So it'll be closer to when the new moon is going to be occurring. If you guys are interested. So go ahead and
awesome.
give your opinion. We love opinions.
Dawn, did you say 55? What did you say about 55 that caught of the world's
55% of the world's countries are having elections this year.
Okay, that's so funny. When I did my cards this morning, and if anybody doesn't know, normally every day I'll do a channeled message with astrology and numbers, and the the full moon was at 194 degrees 23, which breaks down to a 14 and a 5, which is a 55. And I wrote down 55 and double change. And then I don't know if you scry into the astrology wheel or at all, or if you've ever tried, but I saw a house in it today. So there was like a rectangle, and then there was a triangle roof, except what I was getting was that there's going to be a hole in the roof. There's going to be some damage caused, is what I wrote down. And then I saw also a trine of air, and it was all three air signs. It was Black Moon Lilith at 2 degrees 33, course in Libra, Pluto retrograde 0 degrees 53 Aquarius, and then Mars and Gemini at 1 degree 7 minutes. All of them add up to an 8 numerology. So we had 3 8s, which is a 24, which is a lover's triangle. And I saw this lover's triangle as what was coming into the roof to like damage the roof. And then a second trine I saw was the same with the Black Moon Lilith and Pluto, but then Uranus in Taurus. And that was 26 degrees 33, which is an 86. So anybody that's ever been in the restaurant business, or if you've waited tables or whatnot, you know that when they say, 86 chicken piccata, then that means they're out of it, right? That is no longer available. So I wrote down 86. Somebody's got to go. And then an 86 is a 14, which is temperance energy. And this is for healing. Like it's super and super important for healing. So whatever that third energy is, and especially if it is that mother, father, or those attachment wounds, that's what's keeping us, right? There's something that's sandwiched between, right? And that is the third party energy, is this attachment wound.
You're talking about this morning,
yeah.
Can I pull it up?
You are muted.
Hello, Delilah. We have a new person.
This was at 7:56 a.m. from Columbus, Ohio.
See,
And then,
but you
well, you're cutting out.
You're choppy, Jen.
Choppy waters. Yeah, it would have been a little bit different because it changes every, 2.5 hours. But it was from Columbus at 7:56 a.m. And that's the house images that I was getting. And then, so a lot of the master numbers, justice energy, 11s, 22s of the date today, 33s. And then I had a 44 as well, though that's not a master number, but it's the day of Wheel of Fortune breaking down to its sister card, the Magician, another 11. So there's a lot of like that soulmate energy floating around. And there's like something that just comes out of nowhere and like busts into the roof. And that's what I saw. And then there was sliding glass doors on the front of the house, which if you're old enough to remember the movie Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow, how just it's a time shift, right? It's jumping on the next escalator into a different timeline. It shifts everything. And then the song by Garrett Hedlund, if it would have been another minute late, you would have never crossed my path that day. And then the other part of the lyrics said, you can be hurt by love or healed by the same. Timing is everything. Yeah, it's just so it's like the stars are lining up. There's something very, very magical about this week. So if people can, instead of, like Dawn said, instead of like having that fear of the unknown or what's to come, think about it like magic, like 11 as two magic wands, double magic wands. And then I even got the charms of, the frog having the crystal ball again, the infinity loop on the 8 card. I got the star when I wrote down the stars line up and you catch a break. I got claiming our independence, laying a foundation, like past energy of that elephant and letting go. And I got an anchor and a witch and where was my other? I had all these synchronicities. So you guys get to hear it first before it posts today. Oh, and a Pegasus. So lots of magical energy. I'm like, this is crazy. So yeah, welcome to my brain. That's that's how I get my
I love your brain and your heart. And if you're
Jen, you're
confused, please
cutting
see her
up.
notes in her community section. Girls got notes.
Yeah. So this will, if you want to take a quick screenshot, you'll see them before anybody else today. They're kind of nutty McFuddy, but that's what they're in. It's what it is. It's what it is.
I love all your little sayings, especially my friend would always say this to my kids: you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit.
That's where we're at with the energy of the moon, because we're at the top of the coaster, remember? So we're on our way down in the last 2 weeks. Whatever we've built, whatever we've built here from new moon to full moon, now we get what we get and we don't throw a fit. That's how that works, right? So here's our action, our emperor energy, and then as we come down, it's our empress energy of surrender. So that's exactly literally the energy that we're in, Miss Liz. Like get what we get, we don't throw a fit, but we've got 2 more weeks until we can start building again what we want.
I was feeling it. They're saying we're choppy, y'all, until we all get our ear thingies. Let's try to mute, maybe. Maybe that'll help. Dawn, are you ready, or did you want me to go with the numerology?
For
I've got spiritual I've got Kaylee, spiritual warrior, pretty
Right.
well nailed down, and MC.
Okay, so Kaylee, spiritual warrior, can you give me your time and location of birth? I see the date.
Okay, then let me do her numerology. And as you worked on, jump in, and then MC, is that right, Jen? Okay. All right. Kaylee, are you here? So glad we could do this for you today. Where are you? Oh, there it is. She added it to the chat, Dawn.
Okay, I see it now. Thank you.
Okay, so Kaylee, I know you've watched a little bit before on how I do numerology a little differently. So I'm going to give you your life energy number, which is 3. I hope you can hear me okay. Your life code is 3713. I also want you to know, Kaylee, you're in a life path number 7. So I'm going to explain those to you. But I also want to know if these years resonate with you. 1986 when you were 1, 1995 when you were 8, could be a year before after, 2004 when you were 17, 2013 when you were 26, and 2022 when you were 35. Now I want to read a little bit to you about the Empress quality in you, which is the seed, the starter, that beautiful Venus energy. You have it in your life code twice. You also have that magical angelic number 7, as well as 1, the magician. And what does Lindsay call it also? The alchemist. The alchemist. And I know you are very intuitive and you do a lot of energy work on your own, and you're quite the leader. All of them. Yes, you are all of that. And a bit of a soldier too, and a record keeper. And I'm going to show you some of the cards that came out. So the Empress energy, life number 3 of the seed and the alchemist. Sorry, I got to grab my. I want you to go with what makes sense to you and leave the rest behind. The Empress, the sensitive, the mentor, the teacher, the nurturer. This beautiful energy promotes growth, expansion, knowledge. The Empress lives in everything and everyone that loves or needs love to grow. Kind, devoted, encouraging, but not always patient, accepting, compassionate, forgiving. But deep in the soul of an Empress lurks a perfectionist that is driven by detail and order. Complicated, complex, demanding, and hard on themselves. When the Empress energy is close to you, then you may need to look around and see what or who needs your attention. It could be a child, a friend, a parent. The universe could be encouraging you to slow down and nourish yourself. I had to slow my roll myself. There may be an opportunity, a new job, the birthing of a new relationship. One thing is for sure, you are ready to grow. And that being said, your life path is 7, which is about spiritual shedding. You may have experienced a spiritual shedding, possibly even a death or that change within you for a new beginning. There's restoration of balance this year, letting go of old behaviors, beliefs, and patterns that are self destructive, an opportunity to heal issues regarding trust and caution. You may be feeling anger issues, but also working on healing that. And there's a redirection of your energy. Feeling more liberated and emotionally restored now. So there is a lot of opportunity for you to take on some new goals and just keep an eye out for the messages coming in that are going to bring you opportunities. There's self-examination of emotional behavior, responses and triggers to things. So just try to stay heart-centered and don't get the crazy monkey mind. because of some loss you may have gone through, there's some confidence and trust issues. Communication is going to be important for you. And moving forward and finding freedom and liberation. Actually, I don't know if this applies to you, but you may have gone through a divorce. And then quickly, I pulled some cards for you. I want you to realize that you're very good at scanning the room and the energy. Not only are you an alchemist, an old soul, and an intuitive, but you are a scanner. And I also want you to look out for people who are kind of shapeshifters, people you can't really trust. This represents the 7 in you that I may be tapping into some childhood type of abandonment issues. And if they don't belong to you, it may be ancestral past life feeling. And I do feel that you're very much a record keeper for your family. We'll just take it for what that is. And even though you are in the life path 7, the 8 came out, which is about restoration. So not only are you really spiritually healing in this year, but you're coming into a very restorative healing time as we get through the rest of this year. And again, healing the sun. You're just going to be okay, Kaylee. And lastly, my favorite numbers that Jen is representative of, 259. I should know this by heart by now. But it is about angelic communications. It is about that old soul and intuitive. It is about soul contracts, past life contracts, the angelic protection I mentioned, universal timing. So if you have a timing question for me, and proof of spiritual alignment, which you have validated, and that you are blessed. I hope that helps you, love. And if you have specific questions, say them and, come back.
Kaylee, I just want to verify, because when I did my math, are you 36 years old right now? I know you have a birthday in December. I also have a son that is a December birthday. Are you 36? Because what I'm looking at in her chart, she has Aries as her ascendant, and her Jupiter was at 1948. And remember that eclipse that we had earlier in the year?
Yeah,
it was at 1904. So I think that this has been a huge year for you, because that you're in a first house progression year, right? And so it's all about you. It's all about you coming out. I'm very interested to find out what you were doing, because you have this beautiful trine with that energy. Your ascendant and Jupiter are right there together. So it would have been a huge, huge moment for you, like an aha, right? Everything going on. But I see that there's this beautiful trine up to your sun and up to Uranus. So unexpected things of maybe, oh, your moon is up there too. You've got a lot of things in that Sag house. It's pretty busy. The being that would be related to legal things, foreign things, travel of any kind, and it would have been a beneficial energy for you. And I think Elizabeth could have been right, because with you having a first house year, your seventh house would have been where the South Node was. So having a loss of relationship or one-on-one relationships probably would have been part of your life. I didn't see any planets there, but I think that's very, Venus is the ruler of that. It makes me wonder, as we are coming up on this Capricorn full moon that just occurred over your Venus, if you had anything related to, oh, I love to hear that, everything about, okay. Oh, yeah. I would say that Venus Capricorn full moon was just like icing on the cake for you, because it was almost, your Venus is at what, 20, 26, 50, 58. So it's almost 27 degrees. So it would have been right there near that full moon energy. And Venus and the moon, I mean, what a blessed energy that is in your house of the 10th house of you being known in the world, possibly good things related to your job also going on with that. I do see Your MC's at 12. I just think that there's so much energy going on for you with this Aries being in the first house perfection year. Mars is going to be big for you, and Mars is going to be going retrograde this year, and it will be in retrograde part of the time that you are in that first house perfection year. So it may affect you. It's going to be going retrograde on the actual December 7th. So it's going to be in Leo at that time. So whatever Mars is doing up until your birthday is going to be a big effect for you, because Mars is going to be the time lord of your chart this year. And that also would include anything that's going on in Aries, and also anything that's going on in Scorpio in your chart, because Mars in that time is a traditional ruler of Scorpio. And your natal Mars is there as well. So it gives and Pluto, which is kind of funny, that she has the natal and the original ruler and the modern day ruler both in her Scorpio house. So she's got Mars and Pluto there. Very strong 8th house. So I feel like that's a very spiritual place for you. It can be about, it's about, it's spiritual. It's also about the house of death and rebirth. It's also about, I know people that have things in that house that, oh yeah, it would be big for you the last 8 months. That's because you have the Mars in your natal chart was activated. And anything going on with Mars in that natal chart. And it's going to be again activated when you go into your second house in December, because that's Taurus energy and that's Venus ruled. So anything going on with Venus and Libra next year starting in your chart would be accentuated. And yeah, you've got a lot of things going on. I think there's things are going to be happening in your because you're sitting right on that cusp of Mars being retrograde, and then all of a sudden you're switching houses. But because Taurus is going to be activated in your chart, you might still get that big energy of the Taurus and Scorpio energy, because Taurus is going to be activated, and that's your second house of resources and money. So that's and do you have anything specific with that in your chart? Because I'm just seeing it's very active, a lot of things going on. But I really like that Venus energy that just got highlighted with that full moon. So a lot of things that you can release and not have in your way anymore, I'm sure. But this is a wonderful time to really get to know yourself. You're in a first house perfection year. It's all about you, baby. It's all about you. So do we need to go on to
Andy, did you have anything else to add, or Jen?
I think Jen had people lined up.
Okay. Are we ready for MC? Okay. I was still working on her. I got it though. I got it. Hi, MC. Okay, I'm not muted. Okay, cool. Where is she? Hey girl, you still here? MC.
Just go.
MC in the house. Are you here, baby? Put something in the chat. Oh, there she is. Okay. Okay, MC. I believe you're new here. So the way I do numerology is a little different, and stop me if you already heard this speech. So I get your life energy number, but I create a code of your life that honors all the numbers in your birth date, much like astrology honors your sun, moon, rising. So we get the energy of everything that makes you up and how you connect to other people in your life. So in the future, if you want to know about your mom, your dad, lovers, friends, what's happening, we can tie that all together. But for right now, your life energy number is of an 8. That's the advocate, the justice. I believe that you really need to have a lot of structure and balance in your life. 8s are seen very much as humanitarians, politicians in a sense, opinionated, can be, animal activists as well, complex, complicated visionaries. You probably have a tendency to question everything and everyone. As children, as a child, you may have grown up in a type of war zone, either actually or between your parents. And that causes a split in your energy. And with eights, that's very what's the word I'm looking for, y'all?
Destabilizing.
Destabilizing. Thank you, Angie. And also it really disconnects your heart from your mind, and then even that third intuition. So understand how to heal any past life or childhood trauma, and you may just really have to pick a side if that is the case. This year you are in a life path 6, which is about emotional healing. So I'm curious what you've been through. Maybe a loss of a relationship, a death, a loss of a job, just things that really require some emotional healing for you. But this is a time now where you're no longer numb from this. Um, you probably are fearing all the change that's going on. You may likely feel very overwhelmed as well. But I want you to know that this is something you are healing and coming into a time as this year progresses into spiritual shedding and letting go of some of this. But right now, it's important to remember that you will come into some new opportunities and relationships after all of this. And you're awake now. You are not numb. You may have confidence issues. I think we all do. And there's fear of the unknown, the future, letting go, no control, but just stay heart centered. And I really think that you will begin to reinstate your faith and trust, and you will find a lot of healing, spiritual healing, and the ability to strengthen your personal power. And I want you to also have faith that you will restore the issues surrounding the loss and fear of loss you may be experiencing. Let me pull a couple real quick cards for her about this. I hope it makes sense. Interesting. Fives. This is about soul contracts. So I'm getting a ding, 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 ding about needing to talk to you more about what's gone on, what you may have suffered a loss from. 5 again. My girl's going through some changes as well as these contracts. This does MC. I should remind you, your life energy is 8, but your code is 8143. You have the Empress and the Emperor within you. Divine masculine, divine feminine energy balanced within you, or to stay balanced. And this is a reminder of that powerful leader you are, and beautiful and non-judgmental, but do remember your boundaries and do remember how strong you are. One more. 11. You do have the 1 in you, and sometimes, as I mentioned before, at this time when you probably are feeling very overwhelmed and just a little bit afraid of all the changes, don't let it spin. Again, drop down into your heart. You might want to look at the blog that we mentioned, you guys, I wrote about walking the 8. It'll be linked. And one more thingy. The mind. Quiet your mind, baby. Everything's going to be okay. You're on the healing path. Does that make sense, MC? I hope so. I hope it was helpful. Dawn, you're muted, babe.
Love you. So let me, so when I added up her number 150, you're 51, I believe, right now. Congratulations. You are at your Chiron return, or just had your Chiron return. I could probably click the transits and find out for sure. Which I think is, you don't put up with nothing no more, basically. So your Chiron is in that same house. So you would have had that energy going through. Your perfected house is the 4th house this year. So that's about your base, your home, your property, your family. And your Venus and Mars are there. So one of the things I do find very interesting about your chart is that you're going to be very affected by the eclipses later this year. The eclipse in Pisces is going to be right on your moon. That full moon in Pisces, that lunar eclipse is right on your moon this year. And that is in your 8th house. So it could be something illuminating in your spirituality, or it's also the house of, you know, death and rebirth and inheritance and taxes and other people's money. So bear that in mind with that house. It could be any of those things. Usually it's more than one, I find, because it's that powerful eclipse energy. And the other thing with the eclipse on October 2nd, and that's at 10, I believe 10 degrees of Libra. So that would be right over your, in the 3rd house, the Astrology goddess Urania, which is astrology. So I don't know how much your interest is in astrology, but the new moon on that energy in Libra for you is like right on top of it. So I think that's very striking to me. When I see something that's an exact match with one of the asteroid goddesses. She was the daughter of a granddaughter of Uranus and daughter of Zeus. She was one of the muses, but she rules the heavens. So if you have a good connection with the sky and also of astrology. So that kind of strikes me as something that's very interesting with your chart. And then after your birthday, you will be going into a 5th house, Sagittarius year, fun, 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 fun. And Jupiter will be in the fun thing for you as well is that Jupiter is in your house 11 of friends, community, internet. So you're going to have both the 5th house and 11th house, very fortunate houses lit up for you after your birthday this year. So I think that's a very fortunate thing with friendships. So if you've had a lot of changes in friendships going on because of the nodes, the south node being in your house of local community, there might have been a lot of changes there, a lot of changes in friendships there. And I think you going into that 9th house more of Aries in that 9th house of higher learning, higher education, learning more about yourself. I think those are the main things I would say about your chart. But I really think a lot is going to be key once you get past these eclipses this year. So I'll let either Angie or Jen give you any further information.
Angie, do you want to take Rachel?
For cards, everybody ready for cards?
You just hop in here. I don't want to hog all the numerology. Well, are you reading for MC?
Rachel?
Oh, we're going to Rachel. Okay. We're moving on to Rachel. MC, I hope that helped.
Okay, cards for Rachel, please. I want to know what has been a mystery. So I did get with that, life is a mystery. And then in addition, I had like a prayer. So like Madonna was coming in today strong, as well as the Garrett Ludland. So information, life is a mystery. So what has been hiding underneath the iceberg, right? So think of when you see an iceberg, that say this is the amount that you see on top of the iceberg, and we could have the hugeness of the rest of that iceberg underneath, right? So if you see this little hole there, that's in the ice. And this Page of Swords is finding this sword for the first time. She has no idea what it is. So think about like Little Mermaid when she's wearing a fork in her hair, right? Thinking it's a hair, it's used for hair, but it's actually a fork. So you're finding out something new. You're finding a new use for something, Rachel. Something you thought was a mystery is going to be like dropped right in your lap. And it's like, whatever, if you've been like working really hard towards that, this Nine of Wands, this is a 24-hour job here, right? So it's like toiling and laboring. This is not something you have to toil and labor over. The minute you stop toiling and laboring, whatever has been evading you is going to drop right in your lap. But isn't that always the way that happens? Two of Swords. So that's going to move into you having then to make a choice between two equal options. So these opponents are worthy opponents because they're of equal size, they're of equal abilities, and that's going to leave you with a decision to make. So something you've been really, really searching for, the minute you stop searching for it, it drops right in your lap and you're like, what is this business? So in your environmental energy as well, the Eight of Pentacles, many hands are making light work here. It's kind of like an assembly line. And there's also a frog, which came through in the cards I was talking about from my scribe messages this morning, clearing out the clutter. This frog has a bunch of amethyst on his back because he's helping out. That's a protection stone. And then in addition to that, there is a bobcat, which I also got bobcat spirit. Life is a mystery. So coming back around to the Madonna. And then I also did get a stag charm as well, which is related to elders. So this could even be someone in your family unknowingly dropping this information to you. Maybe they thought or assumed you had already known. So whatever you're wondering about, somebody either knows and it's about to drop itself to you. Okay. So on the other edge of that mystery, I want to look at what for Rachel is going to be the four aces of 21, the four aces of potential. So something has to end. I'm seeing that crash coming through the roof again. So something ending, something sudden, kind of 86ing, changing everything. And there is the death and rebirth energy right there, transformation energy. Wow. Okay. So the other end of that, what are these aces of potential for Rachel? Aces of potential. You're going to have to write in and tell me what this dropping in your lap is when it gets here, because it's coming. No? Okay.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right, aces of potential, all new learning. So the energy of the Hierophant, more fives. In addition to the double change I saw this morning with that full moon degrees. At that time in the morning, we had the sun at 0 degrees, 10 minutes. So another 55. And here's yet another 5 with a 5 on the bottom. So 5 of Pentacles, something you may think as a loss, or coming back to this card that you're never going to find it. You're working too hard. You're looking too hard, which can actually be the opposite energy that we want, right? So it's kind of like once we put our wish out there, we've got to treat it like an Amazon order. Let it go, quit checking up on it, because then you're just going to slow down the energy, right? The minute you stop searching, it's coming in, and that could even be by way of download. So this is the guru, the shaman, the guide. She is voracious in her learning. Whatever this is that you're learning here, it's going to drop from the sky seemingly right into your lap. As if it was magic, right? As if it was magic, and it will be leading to a victory. And what I say there with the Wheel of Fortune, as if it was magic, and it can shift the weight, shift the fate. I just got corrected, of everything. So Rachel, that was pretty big message there, but I hope that helped you. The big message here is stop learning or stop looking, because it's going to get dropped in your lap the minute you stop looking.
Yeah. I can't wait to tell her something. And then Kaylee, I saw your question, and yeah, I got to go into a lot more about those years. But if they made sense, we'll talk. Okay, so Rachel, this is going to tie right into what she's saying. All right, so your life energy numbers 1 of the alchemist, the magician, all that beautiful stuff. Your code is 1631. And I want you to remember too something I love that Angie throws in. You're actually a 10, and that 0 is really God's protection. So roll with that your whole life, okay? But we're going to look at you as a 1631. Because the ones are so strong in you, I want you to understand some of this, and then you're in a life path 3, which is what Angie's been talking about. Yep, she's like, Okay, so you're an alchemist, you're a wizard, old soul, intuitive. You probably feel like you come from the stars, and I believe you do. You're highly creative, especially because you also have a 3 Empress energy in you, and the 6 is the muse. It's just such creative energy, and if also the 6 mirrors the 9, which is the prophet. And I also want you to know that you probably enjoy being alone, but at the same time, you want connection. You're like, I'm a lot like that. So in that sense, if you want that connection, bring more of yourself to the people you love. You kind of wait for them to pull it out of you. Just go ahead and bring love to the situation, following this divine intuition you have, and you'll be safe. I promise. You're in a life path 3 of expansion. Opportunities are going to come, like she said, and we want to know what they are. Could be a new relationship, a new job. I don't know. Let us know. But I do know no matter what, you are ready to grow. And just a side note, don't be overly secretive or shrouded. Don't be too much of a perfectionist, and don't be so hard on yourself. Okay.
Okay.
That's
That
awesome.
makes sense, baby.
That's so cool.
No, you're not weird. I like being alone too. I'm a Cancer, but Aquarius rising. So I'm like, I need people, but I don't need people.
Nothing's weird in our world anymore, guys. So
No,
nothing
we
you say
love.
can weird us out.
You guys are so all unique. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope it was helpful.
I do have a little bit of astro information for her. Hang on just a second, because my astro.com just dropped out of my thing here. Hang on. I have her in her, and I was already looking, so it's like,
It's that Mercury retrograde.
yeah, it's in its shadow. What you gonna do? But I will say she is. I have her as being 47, so she's actually in a 12th house perfection year, and so this year that's her Gemini house in Whole House Astrology, and that is about being alone. And I think now is a good time to be taking that energy of finding out what you want to do. The moon is in that house for you, so that would be a perfect time to get in touch with your feelings and everything. What I do think is interesting is that you also were touched by this full moon in Capricorn, because your Mars in Capricorn in your 7th house is at 22 degrees. So I'm wondering if there's something that you haven't been made aware of that you're going to take action on, because it's Mars in that area. And Mars for you, let me check, you were born. And so it would be tend to be a harder thing to deal with for Mars for you, because it's your most malefic planet. but it could be something that just spurs you to take action and gives you that energy. I will say that you are having, because Gemini is your activated house and Jupiter is there, that brings a lot of good fortune to that house, I would say. And then because the moon is in that house, you have a Gemini moon, which is great for communication. When you go into a first house perfection year next January, yay for you, you get to be exploring yourself more. But for the next, from now until like the next couple years, because you go from Cancer then to Leo, anytime you have the moon involved very actively in your chart, which you do now and will for the next couple years, always pay attention to the lunations, and especially to any of the eclipses, and see if they're hitting any personal planets for you, because it will be extra loud and extra strong for you. And you do have Pisces in your ninth house, Venus, 27 degrees. So that will be hit by that, by the lunar eclipse on the 17th of September for you. And that can be, it's the house of astrology, travel, higher learning, legal cases. So something is going to be beneficial because it's Venus, and it will then be in a square to your moon in Gemini. So I think there's something that's going to be activated during that time. So I would pay close attention during that time to what is going on. In the meantime, you can, because the moon is involved, there's a lot of activity going on in your chart. So pay attention to how the moon goes and what houses it's in for you, what signs it's in for you, because you will find that that is actually going to be affecting your moods a little bit more, as well as Mercury coming up into this retrograde is going to be very active for you, because it's going into Virgo, your third house, and then we'll back up into Leo and be going over. Yeah, first, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Mercury. I was thinking of the Mars one. No, Mercury. That was right. Mercury is going into Virgo, and then it's going to be backing up and going back into Leo. And that should be going over your Pallas Athena, which is that, the warrior goddess energy. So you could be getting revved up, and Mars is getting ready to go. Actually, Mars is now in Gemini. So you should be feeling very motivated and having something come up for you that's very activated in your world right now. So hopefully that was of help for you.
I just got the chills. They were all connected. I hope that, I hope you can see how they were all connected that way. That was so cool.
Yeah, I was pretty giggly when you were pulling cards. I'm like, yep.
Uh-huh. And then when you said she's from the stars, I had right at the top of my page when the stars line up and you catch a break.
Oh, Jen, can't hear you.
Jen, you're cutting again.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
we have time for one more is what you're saying. And it's on on time for tarot.
And I believe it's Judy. Judy? No, we did Judy. I have Judy. Natasha?
On time for tarot. Is that on time for tarot?
It is on
Okay,
time
so
for tarot.
Judy, okay, hold on.
Okay.
Judy
All right.
and Natasha will have to come back, correct, Jen? Okay.
Okay.
Judy and Natasha, I've started working on your numbers, so please come back or, reach out or something.
Okay, on time for tarot. If you can give me your name, that would be great. Unless you just want me to use
That
OT14.
is, yeah, I didn't have her name.
Okay, on
I
time for
skipped her and went
tarot.
to Judy. Oh dear, I think I got confused. I know I have Judy and Natasha's numbers though for next time, y'all. One time, I don't think I did her numbers.
Okay, on time for
I'll
tarot.
help
So
pull
today,
cards. I'll pull cards for on time too, and then Dawn, you want to do her astrology?
Yeah.
I'll do crystal wisdom for her.
you just want to go ahead, Liz? Why don't you go ahead?
No, you go, and I'll finish with crystal wisdom when you're done.
Okay. On time for tarot. Thank you. So surface messages here. Oh, okay. So surface messages more about learning. Knight of Pentacles with the Five of Swords, and this is more of a childlike energy. There's a penguin here. And this is all these children are playing with swords. Well, what happens when we play with swords and they don't know their swords? It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. So it feels like there's either you're teaching someone that lesson here because you're being very observatory and you're kind of taking notes this time. Nothing's getting past you. And it's kind of like, wait a minute, this feels familiar. Not this time, not on my watch. And what that could be surrounding is this 10 of cups, this community feeling, this everybody pitching in. It's kind of like when everybody makes, you have people over for dinner and everybody brings a dish and everybody's contributing. And it's kind of like, is someone not doing their part? And you're noticing a pattern here. You're starting to see a pattern. Boy, these fives just want to keep coming out, don't they? Fives and tens. Okay. So how can she step or he into power? Okay, with that creativity. This is definitely an aha moment regarding this contribution. It's like somebody going, yeah, I'm going to contribute, and then they just don't. It's like all hat, no cattle. So another five here, and that is the Five of Cups. This is such a different Five of Cups in this mermaid deck, because this is a card more of love and of acknowledging that, yes, we've grown up together. Yes, we love each other very, very much. But a Selkie seal cannot live on land, and this girl cannot live in the ocean. So due to consequences that were not of their making, it's still a soulmate energy, but it just can't be. And that can be that it just can't be for just right now, or until this person kind of picks up their game here, because I feel like you're noticing a pattern, and you're starting to maybe have documented that, because you're like, am I imagining this? Is this really what's happening? And you're like, yes, this is what's happening here. Double fives and tens. Okay. Yeah. And it could be something that did not feel so good for our feelings. We're putting something on ice here. But there is spirit all around you waiting for you to come out of that, because this is also a card in this deck. It's not just of healing. This is just like taking a break for a hot minute. This is like, okay, everything needs to go on ice. I'm just going to lay down and rest and relax, because I know that luck is surrounding me. I know that spirit has my back, and they're just waiting for you're recharging your energy is what this is. Yes. So that we can have a victory here. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. So in this context, whatever this pattern is that you are picking up on, this is the same person. Again, Nine of Wands can also mean repeating patterns and expecting a different result. And it feels like this person didn't think that you would pick up their pattern, or didn't think that, just thought they could keep getting away with not bringing anything to the table. Not so much, says the Empress. And there's another 10. Tens are not the end. Nines are the end. So 10 is actually reset to a 1 or an ace of a new beginning. And by you stepping into your Empress energy here, this changes the environmental frequency, and something new is able then to come out of this, some kind of new behavior by this person. I don't, they're bringing their knapsack this time, so they're not coming empty-handed. So it's like, the person that, again, all hat, no cattle. So I hope that's,
Angie,
I hope that's
she
making
has a
sense.
question. She does have a question. She said, "Could this be love or more a sibling?" Do you get a read on that?
It's someone who acts like they get confused or they forget or they're not they know dang well they're just taking advantage of your kindness, whoever this person is, but they're doing it because they've been allowed to do it. So I don't know who that person would be. Let me see if we can get a read here. Who is this person in the environment that the sun, 19, someone could be 19. This could be a childhood friend, and these are kids playing, so very well could be a sibling. And then we have that turtle energy, so that is soulmate energy as well. But the sun is shining down through the water. And think about when you're underneath water, right? You can still see, but it's panned out a little bit. It's a little blurry or cloudy, but you're like, no, even though it's cloudy, I got your number. I can see this. I can see right through it. So it just feels like a little bit of, immature energy. They're like, oh, I didn't know it was hurting anybody's feelings. I think it's a matter of just saying it. Just be like, look, you got to contribute. It was your turn to bring the XYZ, the mashed potatoes. I don't know. It was your turn to make sure the playlist was done. It's a person that kind of always gets away with not contributing, but not no mo.
Yeah, I
There's
pulled
the
some crystal wisdom
balance
healing
is
that
coming
might
in.
tie in. Oh, she's not done. I'm sorry. Oh,
Nope, we're good.
okay. Okay. So smoky quartz is I can't talk. Just smoky quartz. Transmutational magic. You're powerful. You have a powerful survival instinct and ability to go where others dare not. Transmute the past and realize darkness is not evil. Facing your darkest fears turns this into golden gifts. You know that death is only a transformation into another state of being. Take responsibility for your life. Don't let others take control. Be patient. Much stirs beneath this calm surface. Transformation is close, as Angie was just showing you. So cool. Toxic emotions turn to positive regard. Ground your efforts every day, but retain contact with higher realms. Success comes through dedication and trust in your abilities. Mentors are available. Release yourself from old enchantments. No part of you is evil or bad. Embracing your shadow leads to healing, hidden in the darkest reaches of yourself. And then I also got selenite, which is a very protective, cleansing crystal that we all have. Show you, probably all have one of these big guys. And it's divine light. And I just want you to know, being in the flow strengthens your well-being is probably the best way to put that. Banish confusion and clarity is needed. Allow divine light to inspire the future. Let go of something dear to you. Parting does not mean loss of love. Reconciliation is possible. Make the first move. Overheard conversations enlighten you. So I hope that adds to what that beautiful reading Angie did for you.
Yeah, lots of kids on the cards for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple things. Now, this is our on time for tarot person, right? So I just want to make sure you have a really busy time coming up emotionally for you. You are 44 is what I got. So you're in a ninth house perfection year. And that would be Virgo for you. And in that house, you have Mars and Saturn. And one of the things that is also activated because it's Virgo and it's ruled by Mercury, any of the Mercury retrogrades, which are about to come up, that's going to be a big effect for you because you have Mars in that house. That Mars retrograde is going to be a really big thing for you. And that's going to involve personal relationships. And the really important thing I'm going to tell you about that is that it's going to be stationing direct on to go stationing to go direct on your sun, which means that is big, especially since Mars is activated in your chart. So what happens is that Mars is currently not quite in its shadow. It's just started into Gemini. So you should be getting a lot of feeling of being energized. And Mars will be going over your Venus and Moon, which I think are lovely that they're conjunct. She has a conjunct Venus and a conjunct Moon at 16 degrees of Gemini, which I think you're just charming at work. That's what I think. You're just a charming person, and a giving, caring person. And I'm a Cancer sun myself. I'm a Gemini ascendant, and so I think there's going to be a lot of you setting boundaries for yourself. And one of the things I think that's going to be important, because this is going to be stationing at 17 degrees, it's going to come back over that degree and go all the way back to 17 degrees. Whenever something stations on one of your planets, it's extra punch. And Mars is not a weakling anyway for a punch. So I want you to be aware of that. It's also going to be going over your Mercury 3 times. It'll be going over your Sun 3 times. It's going to be going over your Mercury 3 times. So that's a lot of, it could be heated communication. There could be, this will actually station, I believe, it'll station direct, I believe, in February, but it'll have to be going back over finally. I mean, one way or another, I think you're going to get enlightenment from this. But one of the things that I had to go run and get this piece of paper, because being a Cancer, I am like this. Sometimes when you're involved in someone with a relationship with someone else, there is a blatant perpetrator who's doing all this stuff and behaving badly. And then there's us, the latent enabler. So we do have responsibility in every relationship that we're in. And because I'm a Cancer, I get it. We are very giving. We are like that mother nature. You're taking care of everybody. That's your 7th house. That's how you do one-on-one relationships. You're a caretaker. But you have to set boundaries. You do. And things are going to go a lot smoother when you do that, because it's one of those situations where Mars is going to make you really have a harder time if you aren't setting boundaries with other people. Don't volunteer to watch somebody's kids. Have them ask you. Be asked, and learn that the word no is a complete sentence. You're still a caring person. You will never run out of love, but you can run out of energy. And that's something that you have to protect. So that's what I would say for you. I think there's so many things going on for you. A lot of it is being energized, and there's a lot of Mars energy, very active. Mars is in Gemini now. That house is going to be activated for you, the 6th house of the people that you're around, your everyday habits, all that. It's a great time to start a new activity, something that you're doing daily. That's a great time to get that initiated. You also have Mars in Virgo, and so that's very activated, but it's going to be interesting when it's going through that Cancer record. So just a word of warning. Don't be a latent enabler anymore. I was one. I am guilty of that. I'm so guilty of that. So that's why I'm like, and I'm a Cancer sun. I get it.
Can't help it. Yeah. But we gotta.
So we get everybody that we could today.
I think we did.
Well,
Good.
we didn't get everybody, but we're trying. And you guys do come back Friday, 6.
No,
5?
5 p.m.
5.
5 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. Eastern. We promise that we'll be here. So thank you for coming, you guys. We really, really appreciate the time that you give us. And we really, really enjoy the time that we spend with you. And always look for us during the week. We all have our readings. We take turns every day doing a reading. And if you see something, though, a message that sticks out in your mind, even if it's on a past date, check it out, because that will have a message in there for you, I will say. Okay? All right. Love to all. Love to all. We'll see you next Friday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you Friday. Happy hour.